Have you ever felt like you're trying so hard to solve a problem that you just keep hitting a wall? No matter how much you analyze or think it over, the solution seems out of reach. Albert Einstein once said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." When we're stressed or overthinking, our brains are actually locked in a high beta state, a survival mode where we're too focused on the past or future, replaying worst-case scenarios, and unable to see new possibilities in the present. The high beta state refers to a brainwave frequency associated with heightened alertness, anxiety, and stress. When the brain is in high beta, typically ranging from 20 to 40 Hz, it is in a state of constant activity and arousal, driven by the need to process information quickly and react to immediate threats. While high beta can be useful for short bursts of focus or responding to emergencies, prolonged periods in this state can hinder creativity, clear thinking, and the ability to perceive new perspectives, keeping the mind trapped in a loop of stress and emotional reaction. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with the pieces scattered everywhere. In a high beta state, our minds are scattered in the same way. We're not open to fresh ideas. We're just reacting. This is why sometimes, even if the answer is right in front of us, we don't see it. We're so stuck in the familiar emotions of stress, fear, or frustration that our minds can't break free and get creative. The truth is, answers often lie beyond the emotions we're entangled in and the thoughts we're overanalyzing. Letting go of the need to control every outcome can feel uncomfortable. But in surrendering, in letting go of the thoughts, fears, and constant need to predict every step, we connect to a source far greater than ourselves, allowing it to guide us in ways that align with our highest purpose. The Quran beautifully captures this, and He will provide for him from where he does not expect. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Indeed, Allah will accomplish His purpose. Allah has already set for everything a decreed extent. Surah At-Talaq, Ayat 65, verse 3. By releasing our need for control and putting our trust in God, we open ourselves up to outcomes far greater than what our limited minds can imagine. Instead of trying to force solutions, we are invited to align with the divine flow, trusting that He will provide in ways we may not expect. Surrendering means trusting that God has a plan for us far greater than anything we could devise ourselves. It's about believing that His wisdom, which sees beyond the limits of our own understanding, guides us in ways that serve our true well-being and growth. When we release our grip on the need to control outcomes and instead place our trust in God, we open ourselves to His plan, which is often beyond what we could imagine or anticipate. This act of surrender allows us to rest in the assurance that, even if we can't see the path clearly, He knows the way and has prepared it for our highest good. When we try to control situations and force outcomes, it's like swimming against a powerful current. Even though it's possible to eventually reach our desired destination, the amount of energy and effort required is immense. The more we fight against the flow, the harder it becomes to make progress, and we often end up exhausted and frustrated, feeling disconnected from the flow of life. But when we surrender, it's as though we stop fighting the current and allow ourselves to swim with it. In that moment, we release the struggle and let the water carry us effortlessly toward our destination. There's no forceful resistance, only a natural flow with the current that guides us, saving our energy and opening us to unexpected paths. Surrendering in this way allows us to trust that we are supported, moving in harmony with a higher wisdom. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up on our goals, but rather choosing to align ourselves with a higher wisdom, knowing that God's plan is far more efficient, expansive, and fulfilling than anything we could have forced on our own. When faced with a problem, it's natural to wonder how it will be solved, especially when we're used to controlling outcomes. But what if, instead of constantly striving and forcing solutions, we simply trust that the answer will come to us? When you are certain about what you want and you trust that it will come to you, the how becomes irrelevant. The key is to release the need to control the process and simply trust that what you need will unfold in the right time and in the right way. Solutions often come in the form of inspiration, a sudden insight that feels almost like a direct message from God. This inspiration, or intuitive flash, is the guidance that you've been waiting for, a signal to act, so treat it with respect and move forward as soon as you receive it. Many of us, however, block this flow of guidance because we return to our habitual ways of thinking and acting, trying to resolve problems with the same mindset that created them. We keep running in circles, using the same old methods until the pressure of the situation forces us to surrender. This is often when we finally open ourselves up to receiving help. But true surrender requires a shift. To surrender is to release the tight grip of the ego, to let go of the idea that you know how things should unfold, and to trust in an outcome that you may not have imagined yet. When we truly surrender, the brain shifts into lower frequency waves like alpha and theta, which are linked to relaxation, creativity, and intuition. By letting go of control and trusting, our brain naturally moves into these calmer states, which open us to new insights and allow for those aha moments or unexpected solutions that feel like they come from beyond our usual thinking. In these states, we feel a deeper connection with God and become more receptive to His guidance. This shift aligns both mind and spirit, creating the space for divine insight and fresh responses to emerge, revealing paths and solutions that our limited perspective might not have considered. By surrendering to God's wisdom, we open ourselves to possibilities and solutions that go beyond our current understanding. The human mind, shaped by past experiences and limited perspectives, often locks us into familiar patterns, causing us to repeat the same responses to life's challenges. This is where the true power of surrender becomes transformative. When we release control and place our trust in God, we allow His boundless wisdom to guide us in ways we may never have imagined. Our minds, restricted by personal beliefs and emotional reactions, can miss the broader perspective. In contrast, God's wisdom transcends time, space, and limitations, guiding us toward outcomes we may not have thought possible. What if you knew the challenges you're facing have already been resolved? How would that change your approach to it? Imagine the peace and ease you would feel if you trusted that everything was unfolding according to a plan greater than your own. Often it is doubt, fear, and anxiety that cloud our connection to divine support. When we are uncertain, we create mental blocks that prevent us from fully receiving the assistance that God is ready to provide. On the other hand, having certainty, absolute faith that God's plan is unfolding perfectly, opens us up to divine guidance and miraculous solutions. Building a relationship with God's wisdom begins with trusting that He knows you intimately and wants the best for you. Approach Him with sincerity and openness, knowing that His guidance is always available. Let go of your limited understanding and allow His divine wisdom to lead you. When you do, you'll find that the more you release control and surrender to His plan, the more your life aligns with a greater sense of purpose and peace.